Golden or myself in the Social Studies Department, we would love to draft legislation to have Baltimore City education put in as a required class.
Yeah.
As far as the history of Baltimore City.
I'm totally on board with that.
Well, we'll talk after this.
Okay.
Speaking of some of the jobs that I have as a teacher, and I spoke about Mr. Lovell, Mr. Gold, and other social studies teachers here at Augusta Fells Savage, jobs are difficult to come by. We do know that nationally we are seeing single, almost double-digit unemployment, around 9%. In the city, it's estimated that in certain communities it is double, if not at points triple, that unemployment rate. What can we do as a city to make Baltimore more attractive to companies to come in and develop their businesses here? What can we do to develop basically more sustainable jobs?
Education. Education is the key and the linchpin to anything. Right now, what you guys are engaged on, before we started the interview, I was asking some of you about what colleges you were looking at, what did you want to do in the future, what career paths were you trying to go in. Education takes you there. The one thing I always tell students when I get an opportunity to go out and speak to them is, the one thing, no matter how rich or poor you are, no matter if you're homeless or you have a beautiful home, no matter if your parents has a great job or you're from a single family household, no matter what situation or predicament you're in today, the one thing that God has afforded you with is the opportunity to close your eyes and dream to become what you want to be, period. No matter what Jason says, no matter what I say, no matter what your principal says or your parents or your neighbors, you can always close your eyes right now and say, Jerome, Keisha, whatever your name is, this is what I want to be, and visualize that. And when you start to visualize that on a regular basis, you'll start to take those natural steps to become that and attain that. They'll just naturally happen. I've run into students who are in high school who still can't read. So they're functionally illiterate. It's not too late. So the one thing I try to stress to students, no matter what predicament you're in, no matter where you are in school, that you have the opportunity truly, and this is not me making it up, this is not saying that I read it in a book or someone told me this. This is telling you because I lived it. You have the ability to become whatever you want to be, and that's real. The thing is, when you look at some of our communities, for whatever reason, and I think it's because it's the easiest thing to do, we get trapped up into the normalization. What we see on our street corners, what we see on television. And we know what we want to become. We just try to live for the day and not to aspire to become it. The one thing I will tell you is it's much easier to become that dream in your mind than to do what you see on TV or what you see on the street corner, because that will always come to an end. So I think when it relates to jobs and bringing jobs back into the city, it's building our base up, driving a more sustainable city, and sustainability starts with our youth. I talk about all the times, like, we try to chase after the systemic issues, drugs in our communities, crimes in our communities. We give resources to those things. But when we're not giving the proper resources to the children, it basically creates an incubator for them to grow up into those drugs and into those crimes and into those things that we're chasing. So my whole thing is creating a more sustainable future for the city, and I think that starts right here in this classroom. With every single one of you who tell me you want to go to Morgan or Penn State or whatever school you want to go to, you can do it. It might not be the steps that you lay out in your mind, but you can do it if you truly want to do it. I mean, you in this school in Augustus, you have the resources. You have teachers like Mr. Kahler that will help provide those opportunities for you. But you have to put the hard work in. So it's dreaming, but then it's also a lot of hard work. You've had dating back in history, you had people who were illiterate that become on to become great scientists and ultimately change the world. And I truly know that with the creative nature of Baltimoreans, especially West Baltimoreans, that you have the ability to be whatever you want to be. And I'm excited because I've always wanted to be in the position that I'm in today. I can remember being in the 3rd grade and looking at Kurt Schmoke, the first African-American elected mayor in the city of Baltimore, and seeing the passion and the drive in my mother and my grandmother's eyes at the time of being so proud of him, that's what I wanted to become. So that's what started to get me to start understanding and caring about my community and wanting to go into politics and things of that nature. So the only thing I will continue to stress is education. Education will bring jobs. And then as you guys returning back to the city, it's not you getting your education and moving to the county or moving out of state. It's saying that this is my roots, these are my communities, this is my neighborhood, and we're going to do this.